Firefox. For a lot of us, it's not just a browser, right? It's a symbol of a web that's open and focused on the user. But, well, recently, Mozilla, the company behind Firefox, took a massive leap into AI, and it sparked what some are calling a full-blown identity crisis. So let's unpack this.
And that really is the question, isn't it? As every tech company, Mozilla included, scrambles to cram AI into absolutely everything, you have to wonder, at what point does all this innovation start to feel like a betrayal of the very people who supported you from the beginning? So, to really get why this AI push has hit such a raw nerve, we first have to understand the tough spot Mozilla is in right now. You could say their hero's journey has gotten, well, pretty complicated. For a while now, it's felt like Mozilla's been kind of adrift. They've tried and mostly failed to find new income sources beyond Google. They've bought services just to shut them down a little while later. They've gone through rebrands, management shakeups. It all paints a picture of a company desperately looking for a new hit. And this is so important because, and this is the big one, Firefox is basically the only real competition left for Chrome's browser engine, which pretty much runs the entire web. Now, what's fascinating is that even with all those struggles, Firefox has this incredibly loyal, though small, user base. We're talking about 5% of people on the web, but these aren't just casual users. No way. These are the evangelists, the people who use Firefox as a matter of principle for the privacy and the choice it has always stood for. Okay, so you've got this struggling company with this super passionate fan base. What's the next move? A big strategic pivot into AI. On paper, for a company trying to find its next big thing, it seems to make sense. But is it the solution they need, or did they just create a whole new problem? The argument for doing this is actually pretty simple, and NL- sums it up well here. The thinking is, hey, hundreds of millions of people are already using things like ChatGPT, these large language models. So Firefox has a responsibility to build tools to protect those users, to meet them where they are instead of leaving them to the big tech giants. Right? But that immediately brings up a huge question. If you're building for the hundreds of millions using AI, what about the billions who aren't? What about your core, loyal users who specifically chose Firefox because they don't want that stuff baked into their browser? And that is where this whole thing really starts to fall apart for a lot of people. See, for most of the diehard fans, the issue isn't even that AI features exist. The problem is how they were rolled out. It's created an experience that feels less like a choice and more like something being forced on them. So here's the million-dollar question. If you're a user and you decide, you know what, this AI stuff isn't for me, how do you turn it off? You'd think it would be a simple little toggle switch in the settings, right? Not even close. Instead of a simple button, this is what you get. A super long, incredibly intimidating list of 11 different technical settings, and you have to manually type these into a hidden advanced configuration page. Let's be real, this isn't just user-unfriendly. It's a massive technical wall that seems deliberately designed to stop anyone but the most tech-savvy people from opting out. You know, there's actually a name for this. It's called hostile design. It's when a company intentionally hides settings or makes it super difficult for you to do something that they don't want you to do. Think about it. Make it dead simple to opt in, but make opting out a complicated mess? That's hostile design 101. And what's so wild about this, especially if you've been a Firefox fan for years, is just how much it flies in the face of everything the company used to stand for. It feels completely out of character. I mean, it's easy to forget these days, but Firefox was the original David versus Goliath story of the web. They went toe-to-toe with the absolute monster that was Internet Explorer, which was just as dominant then as Chrome is today. And they actually won. They didn't win with money or power, they won because they were on the user's side. And when you put it side by side like this, wow, it's pretty stark, isn't it? The Firefox of the past was all about fighting for user choice and giving you control. Now, the perception is that they're hiding settings and making it hard to say no. It really feels like a shift from empowering users to just managing them. So, after all that, where does this leave them? Is the damage permanent? Or is there a way for Firefox to find its way back? Let's talk about what could happen next. You know, the message coming from their community is loud and clear. Stop chasing some imaginary new audience by disrespecting the loyal one you already have. That 5% of users who have stuck with Firefox through everything, they aren't just a statistic. They are the browser's biggest advocates.
So the answer here isn't to just stop innovating. Not at all. It's about remembering your roots. It's about respecting the people who go out and recommend your product to their friends and family. And most importantly, it's about understanding that real choice means making the no thanks button just as easy to click as the yes please button.
And really, this whole Firefox story is just one small example of a much bigger trend. In this absolute gold rush to bake AI into every single part of our lives, are we forgetting to ask if this is what people actually want? And maybe more importantly, are we making it way too hard for them to just say no?